family members, friends, parents, carers of someone who has diabetes and might be worried about their loved one emitting insulin? What are the kind of things that people could be thinking about?
So first of all, I think their worry is probably appropriate. That I don't think it's, I think that's right, that if they are worried about their child and they've got enough evidence to think that they're not looking after diabetes, they're probably right. But what we need to do is help them think how to manage that worry in a way that is constructive. They need to think about what it must be like for their child. So how do you convert your own worry into something that's useful for the child? If you're worrying, the likelihood is that your child is worrying too. Those friends and family are actually aware. They're actually worrying. So it's not like they won't be surprised.
Yeah.
You worry about all your children, but you have additional worries when you've got a kid who's got type 1 diabetes. I think Lindsay just got sick to death of me always having something to say and a bit of advice. I think I was just seen as being a nag.
So what you do is say to the child, it sounds like, I wonder if you're worried about your diabetes. Turn it round. Don't say, I'm really worried about your diabetes or I'm really worried about you, because that just won't work. What you need to do is say, perhaps you're worried about your diabetes. Perhaps you're thinking, I don't care. Perhaps you're thinking that nobody cares. Perhaps you're feeling alone with it. Parents aren't given a manual on how to bring up children, do we? We do it in our own haphazard way.
Yeah.
And mostly get it mostly about right. But if you've got a child with diabetes, you definitely don't have a manual.
No.
So they're in a real dilemma, and I think parents really also need a lot of support.
It's just a case of the parent isn't living with
Yeah.
it. Even though it probably feels like they are sometimes. We would have phone conversations while I was away at school.
Right.
And she'd ask me about my blood sugar and I'd change the subject.
Right.
There were so many other things going on in my life that I wanted to tell her about, and that I didn't want to talk about that.
Right,
I didn't want
okay.
that to be the first thing.
Yeah.
She told me all through university that she was sorting things out with the diabetes team. You kind of know as a parent that it's not the whole truth. She told me her bloods were perfectly well controlled and she was making up numbers.
I was just so good at lying.
Yeah.
Really good at lying.
You might be pulling the wool over the doctor's eyes and your family's eyes and your friends' eyes, but you've also said constantly, you wish there was somebody there saying, well, I disagree with you, or I don't believe you, or I can see you're struggling.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything getting in the way? So I suppose if your mum had said something similar, was that, is there anything getting in the way of you looking after your diabetes? What could she do to stand up for you when you're not standing up for yourself?
Even if Mum had just asked me to maybe, if I wanted her to help me work out my carbs or something like that, because I wasn't really carb counting.
Right, okay.
I don't think she knew that at the time.
Yeah.
But someone taking the pressure off that a little bit.
Yeah, I could have taken a bit of the strain off, yes. Maybe we could have sorted something out whereby I did the numbers for a bit, even from a distance.
What you're saying is that your mum and dad could have sort of stepped in a bit, look at the more practical aspects of it, like shared it with you.
Yeah, and I think that is exactly where my life is at the moment, because I'm very, very open about everything related to diabetes, and so having everyone I care about involved in those conversations makes it easier, but it also kind of keeps me going, because I know that if I let things slip, they'll notice.
Yeah, there are actually people that could be quite helpful, I think, especially friends, because you don't really want to always talk, you're trying to separate from your parents, aren't you?
Yeah, some of my friends are amazing. It goes back to the confidence.
Yes, yeah.
If I speak to someone about this, they're not going to turn around and look at me as if I'm completely mad.
Yes, there are more people out there that will understand you, respect you and want to help you.
Well, you know that we're always here and we're always ready to talk, and I know there's moments when you don't feel 100% happy and things are still a struggle. But I'm hoping now that you've told me what's going on, that you'll now be able to pick up the phone, and you've got me and Dad and the family, and we all appreciate what's been happening and what you've been going through.